Welcome, everyone. In case you don't know me, my name is Stephanie Lee. I'm an evidential medium, and I review books that have led me on my spiritual awakening. So for September, I'm going to be digging in deep to Ghosts Among Us. It's by James Van Praagh. He is my mentor, and he is the person who I learned mediumship through, who I got my certification. Wonderful man, has been a medium since he was born, and he has extraordinary adventures with that. This book taught me about what happens to our physical bodies once we cross over. So in the next 4 weeks, I'll be breaking it down, one video a week. The first video, this one, will be talking about leaving the body. Next week will be Ghosts 101. Then the spirit world, and the last week will be an enlightened life. So let's dig right into leaving the body. James wants us to know that no matter what factors are present at death, so if there was a homicide, if there was a suicide, if there was just a bad accident, or if it was just someone had died from old age, that there's no pain when we die. He says, in fact, it is the absence of pain that confuses many of the newly dead because they don't realize they have died. And one of his examples was there was a gentleman who was up on a really high ladder. He was doing some inventory, and the next minute he crossed over because what happened was he fell off the ladder and was killed once he hit the ground, but there was no pain at all. And so that you get kind of confused. It's like, well, what just happened? I was just on the ladder and now I'm crossed over because there was no pain. So just for you to know that there is no pain when we cross over. And he also wants us to know that no one ever dies alone. So if there is someone in the hospital that you can't get to, because you're clear across the country and they pass before you can get to them, and you are wondering or feel guilty that you were not there because then they died alone. That is not the truth. When we cross over, all of the people who have crossed before us, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, cats, dogs, they are all there to greet us and to help us with that transition, because that bond of love, it never dies on the other side. So just know that we are never alone when we cross over. There are people, our family is there to greet us and take us on that next journey. So another time when you may leave the body but then come back would be like a near-death experience. Those who have touched death and come back tell kind of the same stories about near-death experiences, that feeling of calmness, that overwhelmingly peaceful feeling, like they were like moving through a tunnel or a passage of light, being greeted by your deceased loved ones, and then encounters with angels. Finally, they feel that they are rapidly moving back into their body, probably with a little reluctance because everything is just so fabulous on the other side. Why would you want to leave? Although each person's story is different, all of them agree that this near-death experience profoundly changed their lives, and they've come to understand what their purpose is here on Earth, and they can share those lessons with others. So it's another way you can leave the body, but then we're coming back. Another approach he talks about is somebody who's in a coma. So can people in comas hear us? And the answer is yes, they can hear us. The conscious is always aware of what's going on. So the conscious is not confined to the body. It's part of the mind. And the mind is part of the soul. So James writes about a time when his father had passed. So his father was in a coma. He and his brothers and sisters were at his side saying their last goodbyes. And he heard his mother say, "Hurry up and say your goodbyes already. We want him with us." So his mother was there trying to get his father to cross over. So James had whispered in his father's ear, and his father could hear him telepathically, consciously, that it's time for him to return home. And his father then telepathically said back to him, "But I don't want the children fighting." And so James said, "We will not fight, Dad. So just, it's fine. Go. We'll be fine." And so within, 5 minutes of them leaving the room, after they said their goodbyes, he passed. So it's interesting. So just know, if you've known someone who's in a coma, you may want to just go and have a conversation with you because they can hear you. And our deceased loved ones can also hear us telepathically. So if your deceased loved one, say, is your mom, and you want to have a conversation with her, go ahead and have that conversation because she can hear you. You can have a conversation whenever you want, wherever you want, at any time of the day with your loved ones because they can hear us. James also wants us to know that in the spirit world, there is no time as we know it. So past and present don't exist. That the time is now. Whatever is happening now, this is the time. There's no past, there's no present, it just is now. The time is different on the other side. So when you arrive on the other side, you will go with what is called, you'll go through a life review. So you will sit and watch your life that you just lived happen in front of you. You will become aware of the soul lessons that you had to learn, and only you are the judge of yourself. Only you will learn if you have learned your lessons or not. No one else judges you. If you hurt someone on earth, you experience that same hurt. Only you can forgive yourself for the pain that you have caused another soul, and only you can forgive yourself for the pain that you've caused yourself. Your consciousness then is expanding every time that you have you learn your lessons here on earth. Every time you come back, your consciousness expands bigger and bigger. And you realize that life never ends. It continues forever in different forms and different dimensions. And you realize that spirit world is made up of thousands of levels, and that spirits gravitate to particular levels depending on their soul's evolution. So if you've maybe learned some lessons, but not enough, then you're going to maybe stay at this level. And then as you learn more lessons, you gravitate up into the higher realms. So in conclusion, my belief is that Earth is our school of life, and we're here to learn lessons, and that heaven is our home, and that we never truly die. In fact, our soul lives on forever. We just shed our body. We just shed our body. We leave Earth. We go back to heaven, to our home, and then we work with our family and figure out when we're all going to reincarnate again on Earth and learn more lessons. So I hope you enjoyed this first section of this book. We'll have 3 other sessions in regards to this, so I hope you tune in. And if you want to connect with your loved ones, please sign up for a session on my website at stephanieleemedium.com. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.